Hello, I'm Frances from Winstev Homestead, and I want to talk my cottage garden. This part of the front of my house, I don't know if you can see it clearly, I want to do flowers. I want to do all kinds of flower bushes and bulbs and trees and vines and I want it all to be flowers. I'm really excited about having just flowers here in the front of the house. The snow has melted today and it's almost 50 degrees outside, but it's raining. But it's so much better than freezing cold. So I'm okay with this. All of my water catchment containers are full. I'm very sad about that. I want to be able to buy more and I can't yet. I would love to catch more water. That's the great thing about this area. There's so much moisture when there's moisture. And unfortunately, I'm out of containers and they're a bit pricey. So I'm going to be saving up money, hopefully, to get a couple more, but it might not happen this season. But I've drawn up plans for my cottage garden, so let's go inside and let's talk about it. Okay, so this is the diagram I drew up. I hope you can see this okay. It's very rough draft, of course. This is basically that front area in front of the house by the road. And this is the aspen tree that's already there and the spigot that's already there. There's a few other small trees that I don't think are alive. There's one larger tree over here that never got any leaves last year, so I'm pretty sure that's dead. So we'll be taking that out. And the couple other smaller trees, I don't know what they are. And so if anything, I would move them to, I think the previous owner said something about they might be fruit trees, and so I might move them over to the fruit orchard when we get our fruit trees in. But the whole front area, I am going to be rototilling. Now, we try to do no-till, but we're going to have to do an initial till. It is all sand, of course, but there are definitely some mounds of some underground rodent of some sort that we want to discourage. And so we'll till it all up, and then I'm going to put down some cardboard, maybe even some weed cloth or some hardware cloth, even a ½ inch possibly, just to discourage them from coming up under my plants. Of course, doing that means I would have to dig down quite a bit more, so we'll see how much I'm willing to dig. It may just be the cardboard or weed cloth just to cover. And then since it's all sand, I'll be using compost, some that we've been working at producing ourselves, or a mixture of some store-bought, but we'll definitely be doing some compost for the trees. Now, I have ordered $100 worth of flowering bushes, trees, and bulbs and vines. It in no way is going to be enough to cover that whole area. To start with, it's 50 feet across this way. It's 260 feet across this way along the road. And it's 300 feet along the driveway. That's a lot of area. I know that it's going to be very hard to make that all flowers. However, as you can see, I've made a bit of a grid here, a diamond-shaped grid. And it's my hope every straight line is going to be a 2-foot path covered in wood chips that we make. And that's with the hope that we can get the wood chipper started, because it's really given us a hard time. We're hoping that maybe once it warms up, that might be different. I don't know. But in the meantime, this is the plan. So this whole grid is going to be, all of these grids is going to be paths for wood chips. And then these spaces inside of here will be probably 8 to 6 foot, depending on the size of the trail. And I want the paths to be at least 2 foot. They could be 3 in some places, but Basically, inside of here will be 6 to 8 foot diamonds. And that will be the space that I will be planting in. Now, as I said, there's already an aspen tree over here, and it makes a beautiful rustling sound. I love it when the wind blows, when it has leaves. It's really pretty. And there's a spigot here, and I would love to have some kind of ornamental look there. I might try to do some kind of rock formation or something, but basically I have some gladiolas that I've ordered, but I'm going to be putting the gladiolas around the spigot. They grow tall, and that'll be a good place for them to kind of camouflage the spigot or to be support for the flowers. So that's what's going to be in the center. This spiral here is my herb spiral. And I have lots of rocks that I've been collecting across the property that I'm going to use to support this herb spiral. As I said a few episodes ago, that I have wintered over my herbs inside so that I can place them in the herb spiral. I'll also have some other seeds and other herb plants that I want to place in there as well. But I have the beginnings to be able to get that started. Now, these here are cattle panel arches. This here and this over here. And I have purchased, now these haven't arrived yet, but I have purchased most of these bushes and trees, shrubs, bulbs. I have purchased from a Burgess catalog that came to me in the mail. It was probably random, but I went nuts over it. And so I have ordered these, and the hope is that they will be here in the spring in time for me to get them in the ground so that we can have some beautiful flowers this summer. But I have ordered from them some wisteria, and that is kind of a grape cluster flower that grows on a vine, and the vine is really climbing a lot, and so I'm hoping that will climb very nicely on a cattle panel arch. And this arch over here is going to be some trumpet flowers that are very appealing, of course, to hummingbirds, and I'm hoping all of these flowers will attract pollinators. That's the hope of all of this, is to attract pollinators for my vegetable garden, for my berries patches, and for the fruit trees. Of course, the fruit trees, it'll be a while before they have any blossoms. They're going to be very young when we get them. That's the best price, is the younger ones. However, the trumpet flower is also a climbing vine. And then I also have ordered some hibiscus. I call them bushes, but they can grow quite tall to trees, and I'll probably let them grow to trees. But they are a kind of a pink, hot pink and light pink variegation. And I'm going to put those on either end. So I will have the hibiscus there. Now I also ordered some hydrangeas, and the hydrangeas are going to go here, and they're blue. And so I will have the pink hibiscus and the blue hydrangeas. And I'm very excited about the variety of color that we'll have here. Now, out in front, by the front steps, there is a red rose bush. It's very big. It's been overgrown for years, I'm sure. And so I'm going to divide that up into probably 4 and put 4 rose bushes to anchor some different areas of the cottage garden. And I'll have smaller flowers and bulb flowers growing around them. But I will cut it back quite a bit and divide it up and make use of it throughout the cottage garden area. There's also lavender growing in the front of the house, by the front door. And it's a really large cluster. And so I'm going to divide that lavender hopefully into 4 different clusters, and arrange that in 4 different locations across the cottage garden area. And have them be the anchor for some other smaller bulbs, flowering bulbs and flowers. I'm hoping to purchase at a garden center some pansies and petunias, things like that. Maybe some primrose, some different smaller, longer flowering plants. Now I'm also going to have some bulb flowers, and so I want to put some tulips and irises and daffodils throughout the area. And at the bottom, closest to the road, I'm going to be having some creeping phlox all along the base, just growing all along the base to fill in all of that area along the road. And I'll also have some periwinkle that will be growing along there as well. And I'm also purchased some daylilies, and I'll be putting those in along the base. And I have some grape hyacinth that I collected from the garden area last year that I saved, and I'll be putting those in as well. There's also some iris and some tulips and daffodils that were here on the property that I'll be relocating to this area. My hope is to have all of this area in a beautiful patchwork of color. That is what I really am shooting for. And this first year, it might not be quite that, but it will definitely be the beginnings. Now, this other area over here, this is on the other side of the driveway, over in front of the shop. So this section over here, coming in the driveway, coming into the right of the driveway, I have these 3 pine trees. And so it's very shaded over here, but there's quite a slope from the driveway to up to the shop that I'm going to fill in with hostas because they're a good shade plant. And I'm also going to put some periwinkle because they can handle shady areas too. And I also ordered some poker primrose that grows tall and some yucca. So hopefully those can kind of fill in that slopey area under the pine trees in front of the shop that's along the driveway to help give that area some color as well. And then, okay, of course, on the other side of the driveway, going this way, is where I'm going to have the ornamental sunflowers and the sweet potatoes. So all in all, it's very ambitious. and it's going to definitely take some work, but I'm really looking forward to it. I love gardening, vegetables or flowers, and I think it'll be fun to see it come together. But I will definitely be taking you along on the journey so you can see the progress and the development. We'll definitely have episodes of the development of my cottage garden. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm so grateful to you. Please like and subscribe. Till we meet again.